let's do something else to chess. All right, so I'm going to set the scene for you guys. So I will do a trip down memory lane. So go back to 1998. In I believe it was October of 1998. I was playing in the World Youth Chess Festival. I was playing in the under 12 section, I believe, and in probably the third or fourth round, I'm not 100% sure which round it was. I was playing an opponent who liked to play the Fianchetto King's Indian. I was playing somebody who liked to play the Fianchetto King's Indian. So my stepfather and I decided to work on a line that he kind of knew a little bit. It's in his book, Best Lessons of a Chess Coach, I believe, which was published in 1994. So I will show you guys this line that we worked out. So it goes d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight f3, bishop g7, g3, castles, bishop g2, d6, castles, knight c6, and now knight c3. And in this position, my stepfather and I basically worked on this line, which is not probably technically best. It's still played here and there, which is to play this move, bishop to g4. So basically, I'm just going to give you the whole rundown of what we analyzed. It was in Oropesa del Mar. It was probably October, I'm going to say somewhere around like October 25th of 1998. And so bishop g4 is the move that we looked at. Now, again, there are many other lines. Bishop f5 is a move. E5 is a move. A6 is, of course, the traditional pano. And normally what I play nowadays when I play the King's Indian. But for this match, which I was going to be playing in this event, we looked at bishop g4. And I'm going to give you guys everything that I looked at. So after bishop g4, we looked at many different lines. First one we looked at was h3. And after bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, we looked at knight to d7 here. And if white plays d5 here in this position, let's say white plays d5, you can go knight to e5, attacking the bishop and the pawn. Let's say white moves the bishop back, you simply grab the pawn, and you're ahead. You're just up by one pawn. Let's say white tries to play a move like queen b3, for example. You can just trade the knight for the bishop, and after pawn takes, you can play something like c6, and you're a little bit better. Once again, you trade off this knight for this knight on e5 for this nice light squared bishop, which was on g2 originally. Obviously, in more modern times, there are more interesting ideas like e takes f3, d5, for example. And the position remains relatively balanced after f4, e6. But at the time, we did not even know about this line. All right, so this is h3, which is one move. Now, the main moves that we looked at the time, besides the h3, was what if white plays... well, actually, no, sorry, there's another line. h3, bishop takes f3. After bishop f3, knight d7. White can also play e3 here. And now after e5, d5, knight e7, our conclusion that was, let's say white plays a move like queen c2, f5, b3. If black can get this position with f5, e4 with this chain after bishop g2, knight e5, you're going to have c6, you're going to have knight d3 here, and this long diagonal, and black is a little bit better here, despite the fact that white has the bishop pair. So we concluded this, and then what we reached, the other conclusion we reached was after d5, knight e7, e4, f5. The game goes on, but you play knight f6, maybe you have f4, maybe h5, and there's a lot of play here. Now, in more recent times, my stepfather actually had a game, I think it was around like 1999 or 2000, which he won against the international master, Dean Ippolito, from this exact position in the World Open. So if you want to go look up that game, you can look up that game if you wish to. However, more recently, I unfortunately lost with this position as well to a Hikaru Rosen in Titled Tuesday, probably about 6 months ago. So that's another game if you're looking for references. All right, so this is what we looked at with h3. Now, the main line that we looked at was d5, and after knight a5, white has a couple moves here. Nowadays, there's much more in terms of theory, but I'll just explain what I looked at in 1998, which was knight d2, c5, and after white goes queen c2, you play rook b8, b3, a6, bishop b2, b5. And if white doesn't play h3 here, let's say, for example, after b5, white plays a move like a4. You have b4 here to attack the knight, and then you collect the pawn on e2. And if white plays h3, you go bishop d7 here. And after, say, a move like rook b1, I think the line that my stepfather and I looked at the time was pawn to e5 here. And the game goes on from this position as well. So after d takes e6, fe6, there's knight ce4, which is why, you guys, when I played the game against Svidinov earlier, when he played, I think he did play h3. When he played e4, it felt like a mistake. After we got this pawn trade on e6, the pawn was on e4, so white could not play knight e4 and open up the diagonal for the exchange. Are we supposed to memorize all this? Well, it's going to be a YouTube video, which you guys can just play back and watch over and over. But this is more just to give you guys an idea of how basic preparation used to be back in the old days. So more or less, I think that was pretty much everything. There was a game that I did want to show. Let me see if I can find it. From 1997, I believe, 1998, I believe it was. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find this game. I think it was Bishop G4, if I'm not mistaken. Why is it not showing up? Let me search this. Does it not show up? I don't see it here. Someone in chat can find it. Let me see if I can find it. There was a game that I played in 1998 in in Trinidad and Tobago. It was in 1998 or 1997. Let me see, maybe it was 97. I don't see it right off. I don't see it. Someone in chat can find it. But anyway, the point was I had a game against Alvarez. He was an IM at the time from Venezuela, and I did end up losing this game. I was able to get in this E5 move. In fact, I was able to play E5. He did not play en passant, but eventually got an E4, knight E2, and F4, and I would go on to lose that game. But basically, this was the extent of my preparation for about an hour before I played the game against played a random game. I don't remember who it was against, obviously, but this was the extent of my preparation against the Hikaru Kings Indian. So now if we fast forward to 2021, if I was going to look at playing this in a real game, there would be so many lines I would look at. First of all, in this position, let's say white goes d5, knight a5. White can play queen d3 here. White can also play b3. White can play h3, knight d2. There's one other move that white has. It's not bishop f4. Maybe it's queen a4. But there are like 5 different moves that white can play here. So you would end up having to do analysis on all of these moves and having to know your next 5 to 10 moves. And that is why chess nowadays is so much different than it was all the way back in the late 1990s. So just thought I would point that out, you guys, in case you're wondering. Also, why you're wondering about this position, because during the game against Svidinov, I was like, e4 feels like a bad move, specifically because it takes away the square when I play e5. And that's just, again, understanding the structures in these positions and knowing what the themes are for both sides. So there you guys go. That's my little 5-minute tutorial on how to play against the Hikaru Kings Indian circa 1997.